Hello everyone. I repeatedly promised my subscribers and myself that I would make a normal welding bench, because this temporary monster, assembled from shit and sticks, had infuriated me for a long time and could not cope with the tasks assigned to it. Once upon a time, the purchase of a semi-automatic welding machine inspired me to make a cool welding cart. So this time, with the workshop moving to a new level and its arsenal being replenished with an argon arc welding machine, I decided to treat myself to a new table to make working more or less convenient and pleasant. In my understanding, a good welding table should look like this. This is a table with holes, laser cut with high precision from thick sheet metal and having a powerful mesh of stiffening ribs on the back side. Numerous holes allow you to securely fix the parts to be welded in various positions, as well as install additional equipment. I hope that when my workshop grows to such luxury, but for now we will make something more down to earth, simple and affordable. And I'll say right away that in my case, the small dimensions of the table are primarily due to the size of my workshop. If possible, I would make the table wider and longer. In any case, it is better to have at least a small welding table than not to have any. And of course, as always, all work begins with a trip to the metal base and purchase of the necessary metal. By the way, a video with the making of the tool cart that you see in the background will soon be on the channel. So if anyone is interested, quickly subscribe to the channel and click on the bell so you don't miss out. The main frame of the table will be made of a 40 by 40 profile pipe with a wall thickness of 3 mm. The surface of the tabletop is made of a profile pipe 50 by 25 and a wall of 2 mm. I will cut the workpieces using a band saw. I cut embedded parts from metal 6 and 3 mm thick to secure the tabletop. I don't know why, but I wanted to make it removable. I also cut squares for the legs from 3 mm thick metal. I will make the legs adjustable in height using M20 bolts and washers. To avoid deformation during welding, the embedded plates will be attached to the profile pipe using welding rivets. To do this, I mark and drill holes. I countersink the holes. For those who need a link to countersinks and drills, I'll leave them in the description. It is convenient to make holes of large diameters with a step drill. When cutting a pipe, no matter what, a grinder or a band saw, sharp burrs are formed that must be removed. The fastest, most convenient and highest quality way to do this is with the help of a grinder. All workpieces are prepared, you can start welding. Through the previously made holes I weld the embedded parts to the profile pipe. As I said earlier, I chose this fastening method to avoid deformation of the profile pipe during welding. I drill holes and cut M10 threads into them. For those who need it, I will leave a link to high-quality spiral taps with the addition of cobalt, as well as my other metal cutting tools in the description. To prevent the taps from slipping in the screwdriver chuck, there are special adapters. You can judge the quality and sharpness of the taps by the chips that are formed as a result of thread cutting. I fixed the cut parts. I used 2 pieces of chipboard as a more or less flat surface. That feeling when you need a welding table to weld a welding table, which is what you are making now. I assemble the frames on tacks, measure the diagonals, and then boil them. I clean the weld seams. Using the first frame as a template, I make the second. I set the jumpers and continue welding. I prefer to weld vertical seams semi-automatically from top to bottom, so the seams are more accurate. I screw the embedded plates to the previously prepared profiles. By the way, this is the same impact wrench that I bought on AliExpress many years ago. As you can see, it still works. I install the frame on the mortgages and weld it. I will make adjustable legs using M20 bolts, nuts, and washers. Here are the blanks I got. I weld them into place. To move the table, I will additionally equip it with swivel wheels, 2 of which have a brake. Looking ahead, I want to say that it is better to use wheels that are stronger and more reliable than these. To attach them to the frame, I weld 4 bolts. Under the profile from which the table surface will be made, I apply markings with the necessary increments. It is necessary to weld the profile pipe in spots so as not to cause deformation of the entire structure. I cut the reinforcement with a diameter of 4 mm into pieces. And then I weld them to the frame. They will be used to support the shelves. I will make the shelves from OSB boards 9 mm thick. I will cut the OSB to size using my homemade circular table. For those who haven't seen it, I have a detailed video of its making on my channel. I'm doing a fitting. To protect against sparks, I will additionally cover the top OSB sheet with a galvanized sheet. I will make brackets for hanging angle grinders from a 30 by 4 steel strip. And from a 15 by 15 profile pipe I will make a hanger for clamps. On the other hand, I also decided to make a bracket for hanging grinders. Like the welding cart, I decided to equip this table with its own extension cord. Additional 4 sockets at hand during work will never be superfluous. For long service life it is important to use a quality cable. For these purposes, the KG cable is best suited in my case, 3 to 2.5. It has flexible rubber insulation, which is more resistant to cold and damage than PVC cable insulation. I crimp the ends of the wires with lugs using a crimper. If anyone needs a link to this, I'll leave it in the description. A powerful and reliable extension cord that will withstand any garage equipment, including welding, is ready. While making a welding table, I decided to once again upgrade the welding cart. Remove 2 drawers from it, and put a plasma cutter in their place. I store various equipment for grinders and welding in drawers, and therefore it would be logical to move them under the welding table. To do this, we had to weld several additional jumpers from a profile pipe into the frame. I cut out the sidewalls from metal 1.2 mm thick and secured them using welding rivets. I mark and drill holes for attaching the guides. The 2 bottom drawers came from the welding cart, and the top one had to be made new. I mark the holes for attaching the extension cord and cut M4 threads into them. I made a simple hook to store the cable. The back wall was additionally reinforced with stiffening ribs. By the way, magnets were installed on them for more reliable fixation of the drawers in the closed position. An organizer with compartments made of tin has shown itself to work very well for storing equipment. I decided to develop this idea by increasing its size and greatly simplifying its design. I cut the plates and made slits in the required places. The metal used was 1.2 mm thick. The slots were also made with a cutting disc 1.2 mm thick. I assemble the construction set and attach it to the welding points. This is the resulting lattice. It fits tightly into the box and does not require additional fixation. I cut several liners from plywood and a block. These will be used to position the removable chipboard tabletop. It doesn't sound clear now, but later you will understand everything. I spread it with glue and grab it with a nailer. I wanted to add some versatility to the table, and therefore decided to equip it with a removable tabletop. I screw the inserts to the chipboard after pre-drilling. The table is ready. I am completely disassembling it and preparing it for painting. I prime the surface and then leave it to dry. The primer is dry, you can start painting. By the way, for those who are interested, this is what the magnets installed on the air intake grill of the semi-automatic machine acquired over several months of work. They definitely did catch some of the fine metal dust and did not allow it to get inside. The paint has dried, you can begin the most enjoyable step, removing the protective paper. I am installing OSB shelves. I screw magnets to the back panel to secure the drawers. I fix the panel itself with rivets. I secure the ball guides. I rivet the counterparts of the guides to the drawers. I flatten the protruding rivets with a hammer. I install the finished boxes in place. I lay the shelf out of OSB and cover it with a galvanized protective sheet. I install and screw the tabletop. I secure the extension cord in its place. I put an organizer in the drawer for storing angle grinder accessories. Well, as per tradition, I attach my company nameplate, made on a homemade CNC machine, to the finished product. The welding table is ready. Now is the time to lay out and hang in their places all the tools and equipment associated with welding work. The table is metal, which means that magnetic corners can be placed in any place convenient for you. The sockets located on the table are very convenient to use to power various tools. The extension cord is compactly wound and can be quickly unwound if necessary. The brackets located on both sides of the table make it very convenient to store several grinders at once right at hand. Boxes with consumables for welding and angle grinders are also in quick access and allow you to very quickly find the necessary thing. The galvanized sheet serves as protection against sparks arising during operation. To prevent welding spatter from sticking to the surface of the table, it can be treated with a special spray. This spray is also used to protect the welding torch nozzle. The table turned out to be quite heavy, but thanks to the wheels it can be easily moved around the workshop. If necessary, the wheels can be blocked. If even greater stability is required, the wheels are suspended by unscrewing the screw supports. With their help, the table can be raised another 10 centimeters higher. This is what the welding cart looked like after modernization. The argon arc welding machine will temporarily live on the top floor of the cart. If necessary, a removable blank tabletop made of laminated chipboard can be installed on the table. The spaces between the profiles can be used to attach various accessories, clamps and vices. By the way, there is a video of making these rotary vices on the channel. For high quality and convenient work, it is also important to use high quality equipment. There are different types of clamps. I don't recommend using such quick release plastic ones for welding work. They clamp the workpieces very weakly and quickly fail. These metal ones are already better. But due to the massive cast part, they cannot always be inserted into the table groove. In my case, I even had to file the clamp a little with a grinder. Well, the best option for a welding table is forged clamps. They come in different sizes and all of them, thanks to the successful shape of the thrust tab, are perfectly installed on the surface of the welding table. When it is not possible to secure a conventional mass clamp, it is sometimes convenient to use this magnetic option. It is rated for current up to 200 A. Well, now let's try to weld something. To align workpieces at the desired angle during welding, it is very convenient to use such magnetic corners. They also come in various sizes and configurations. Having placed the workpieces, I fix them by powerfully pulling them to the table surface with clamps. I will weld using an argon arc welding machine. As you can see, even with such a table with a surface made of profile pipes, it has become much more convenient to work. Using clamps you can quickly set the required configurations of the parts to be welded. Personally, I was pleased with this table. The only thing is that if it had been possible, I would have made it in larger sizes. For those who like the design of my table, here are some pictures with dimensions. If the video was useful to you, be sure to like and subscribe to the channel. Links to useful things and tools will be in the description as always. In the meantime, I say goodbye to you. I wish you all great luck, peace and goodness.